What's up, man?
What's up?
Not much. How are things?
Uh, Better than they have been in a while.
That's good news. That's good news. It's been a long time.
It's been definitely a couple of years at least, right?
Dude, it's been well, first of all, I'm hanging out tonight with comedian Zack Hammond. And it's been a long time. So I feel like the last time that we had any kind of correspondence really
Hmm.
was when you were on the NEPA Scene podcast. And that
Yeah.
was, I mean, we're probably going on. I mean, I parted ways with Rich
Hmm.
um in 2019. So I mean, it's at least 4 years there. So maybe even 5 years
Yeah.
at this point. So it's been a long time. Lots has happened.
Yeah. Shitload has happened.
Yeah. I think when I saw you that at that time you were going through or a divorce or the divorce was finalized
Yeah.
or something like that. But I mean, we can talk about all that and we've it's been 4 or 5 years. We've gone through COVID and
Hmm.
lots to talk about. But it was funny, like I don't know if like you have a social media manager or maybe you do it on your own, but like I saw like whoever's doing it is doing it really well. Like just a bunch of like reels and things like that on social
Yeah.
media with clips from some of your shows, and I was like, I forgot how fucking funny you are. And
Thank you.
it was fun to watch those, and I'm like, yeah, I wonder if he'd be interested in joining me. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. It's all me. I don't have a social media manager or anything. I have a friend, John Greer, who's also a comic, who suggested to just start doing the reels on Facebook because the algorithm lets those get more views than if you just posted a video.
Yeah.
And I put out a special, and I wanted people to go and see that. So I just started posting the reels and in the caption saying, "You can go and find the special at blah blah blah." And I just posted a reel every day since the special came out for like the last 3 weeks, and they were at minimum getting at least 1,000 to 2,000 views, and then some of them just took off. One of them is up to like over 200,000 views,
Oh
and
wow.
one just hit 100,000 views, and they keep getting circulated and shared, and it's weird. The one is just a quick story about how when I was getting my divorce finalized, I had to go to a notary to get it, signed off.
Yeah.
And my ex just walked into the room, was just super shitty to the guy for no reason. He's just trying to do his job. And she's like, "This is for a divorce, asshole." And he looked at me like, "Good for you." And then
Yeah.
just signed off on the paperwork. That blew up. And then I have another bit about how at the time when I was with my girlfriend at the time, neither of us wanted kids, and I still don't because I can't have them because I got a vasectomy. And I was just making fun of her like friends' kids who were just these creepy fucking toddlers that I didn't want to be near. And that was posted on Instagram and got nearly 1 million views. And on Facebook, it has over 100,000 now. And it's fascinating, like the shit that happens when things start like picking up a lot of views.
Yeah.
Because I don't respond to any comments, and I really don't check the comment section because it's just toxic shit
Yep.
most of the time. Because anytime something gets popular, the first group of people that are going to comment are all the negative comments. You're not funny, you're an asshole, you're a piece of shit. Um, whatever you said to piss them off, they're just going to lay all of their hate on you. And then after they start commenting, then other people who are on your side will start fighting with them in the comments. And then it's no longer about your video
Right.
anymore. It's about their bullshit and their hangups that they're having. So it's fascinating, like when videos take off, because you create like a moment in them with doing nothing other than just trying to be yourself. And now everybody else has to make whatever their fucking problems are, everybody else's problems and the world's problems in it. So it's really, really interesting. But I've just noticed, at least on like personally, nobody gives a shit when you tell them that you don't want kids. Most parents will tell you like they're happy for you. They're like, that was a really smart decision. Good for
Sure.
you. But online, people like just take it so personally that you say, I don't want kids and I think it's kind of dumb to do it. People are like, dude, fuck you. You don't understand like what I, did. I came and then my wife did all the work later. And it's like, who gives a shit? Why is like again, I get like you can look at me and go, why is it so important to you? Because I found a way to make it funny. That's
Mm,
why. But everybody else that takes it personally, like you found a thing online you didn't like. Why are you making this part of your day? Like it bothered you. Move on. Why are you like I don't get that attitude of something pissed me off and now I have to comment on it and make it like part of my day and my personality. Just move past it. Like it's why give me free rent in your fucking head? It's the
right.
dumbest thing.
Well, I think the internet gives everyone a voice, right? And then unfortunately, the idiots speak the loudest for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They can't control themselves. Like there's countless times, but people will post things like that aren't even like jokes or comedy,
Hmm.
like real thoughts they have in their head that are so dumb that someone needs to tell
Yeah.
them that they are like legitimately dumb. And I look at it and I'm like, not my, but why bother? Like,
Yeah.
what's the point here?
Because you're not going to change their opinion. Like that's
Right.
that's the thing that always fascinates me about people arguing online. Like at what point do you really think they're going to go, "Oh, I'm wrong. You're right. I'm sorry. Let
Yeah.
me fucking join your team." That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand all of that shit. And yeah, everybody because of the internet has a voice. And if one person likes what you had to say, now there's validation for your stupid opinion. But
Hmm.
that doesn't mean anything. Like nobody
Yeah.
matters. I mean, they
No.
do, because some people will give you money, but other than that, nobody's opinion really fucking matters. It's stupid. I don't get it. It's ridiculous to me.
Well, let's talk about this special that you have out because I mean it's obviously a priority and it's something that's
Yeah.
relevant and now. Um, what is it and where can people find it?
It's a YouTube special. It's on YouTube. You can just type in my name, Zack Hammond, Zick. Or you can go to my website, zackhammond.net, and it's right on the front page. You
Cool.
can stream it for free. It's an hour-long special. It's my fifth uh, album recording, whatever you want to call it. I've done four just traditional comedy albums before that, and this is my first like real special where you can see me moving
Oh, cool.
with lights on me and shit. But yeah, it'll be my fifth hour that I put out, and I'm very proud of it. I took about 3 years to get the material together and get it polished and to be real nice and palatable to people. And I toured it throughout the entire country during, before, during, and after COVID. So it's got all kinds of shit in there, and I'm happy with it. I love it a lot. It's dark. It's poignant. It makes some points, which doesn't matter, but they're all things that I like about comedy, and I put it all into that.
That's cool. What's it called?
Welfare in disguise.
That's funny. I'll have to check that out. I don't think I knew. I feel like I was on your Bandcamp and was listening to something. Is that on Bandcamp as well?
No, the audio albums are all on Bandcamp. This one was done by 4x3 Productions.
Okay.
So it's just only video. There's no audio available. It's only on YouTube.
Okay. So I've seen some of the clips then, is what I've
Yeah,
seen.
you've definitely
Gotcha.
seen some of the clips from it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think people understand or appreciate how much effort goes into being a comedian. And, I mean, obviously people are, inherently funny to a degree, right?
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into, writing jokes and writing material and, how it's all like, the story, the build up and, there's callbacks and things like that. I don't think people understand or appreciate like how much goes into that.
No, because it's a lot of people just look at it just like, well, I'm funny. Like, yeah, but can you be funny in front of a group of people? Because I bet you can.
And coherent,
Because
like,
yeah, well, it's not just that. Like, because anybody can go up and just talk. I've seen it for years. Like when I first started doing open mics, you would just have somebody from like Scranton U or whatever just go up on stage, and he'd have all his friends come there, and he'd be like, "Remember that time that like Molly got drunk, or Patrick, shit on the side of the road." And they're all laughing, and it's like, okay, but that's fine. You have your friends here that understand all your references.
right.
Go do that like in front of like a Legion crowd with none of your friends there, and see how quickly they don't give a shit
Hmm.
about you. And it's it's a skill, it's a talent, it's a learned all of these things to get in front of people and speak to them in a way that they understand what your perspective is, why what you're saying is funny. And yeah, there's a ton that goes into it, and it takes years to figure out. I mean, some people are really good at it, right off the bat, and that's great. But a lot of the time, it just takes a really, really long time to get a stranger or a group of strangers to understand where you're coming from, and then project that to them and have them just go like, "Oh yeah, that's true," or "Yeah, we do that," or "I understand where he's coming from," or "That's a really funny story." It's a fucking nightmare to start and get good at it, and then even when you are good at it, nobody cares.
Hmm.
Because again, they just take the attitude, "Well, I'm funny," or "You don't have any credits, so I've never seen you on TV, so how good can you be?" And it's like the people that are on TV and who are famous are like maybe 1% of all the actively working comedians that are in the world. So it's crazy how much people just don't get it, or not
Yeah.
get it, but just don't, because they don't have to. Like comedy fans understand it, but just the layperson that shows up to the comedy club on Saturday because they had a coupon, they don't fucking know. Like, why would they? They just make me laugh, clown. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
I don't know. I mean, I'm a big music guy. I love going to concerts, but I think I love going to comedy shows far
mhm.
more than going to music concerts. Like I just I mean a good comedian will, I mean, you'll be laughing the entire hour. Like
Yeah.
it's nonstop. It's like, yeah, you go to a concert and it's like, yeah, they're playing a song that I like, okay, whatever.
Hmm.
It's fine, but like, when you're at a comedy show, it's like it's kind of intimate, and it's like,
Yeah.
if the comedian's relatable to, things that are going on in the world, or just, the audience that is attending, like it's just something special.
Well, because you actually have to, the comic has to engage the audience. I mean, music, and I love music, but music is always, it's auditory. I mean, comedy is auditory as well, but music is one of those things where it's just, you're listening to it and vibing with it and just kind of getting into it. It's not necessarily about, like, if you have a stage show or something, like, yeah, that's something to watch and check out. But if you're at a bar, the music, unfortunately, is kind of secondary to people that are at a bar, because it's like, oh yeah, they're playing songs that we like, but how's this going in your life? Or can
Hmm.
we get more beer or pizza or whatever? With the comedy show, everything is dedicated directly to the person that's on stage talking. All the lights are down in the room except for the spotlight that's on the comic. He's the only person that's supposed they're the only person that's supposed to be talking, and they're engaging with the audience directly, and you have to listen to everything that's going on, otherwise you're going to miss something and you're not part of the show. And then that also, there's like a community aspect to it as well. Nobody wants to miss out on something that was said because they don't want to be left out in the cold, per se, and be like, I didn't hear what they said. What was so funny? Why is everybody laughing? So you're deliberately made to listen to everything that the comic says. And then also, it's our job to make sure that everything that we say is engaging and interesting. Because if it's not, then you don't listen to us, and then it just turns into a shit show. And you have situations where then the comic's just yelling at everybody in the audience for not listening to them,
Yeah.
which is also a lot of fun to watch.
There's also something special about laughing along with a group of people.
Oh yeah.
It's fun.
Well, just the group experience is a lot of fun, and it's not like, one of my favorite things to do is to go see a movie on opening night, especially when it's a real popular movie. Like especially when my group of my friends and I went and saw Endgame on opening night, the theater is packed. Everybody is there for this one thing. So we're all laughing in unison at the funny parts. We're all gasping at the shocking parts. Some people are crying at the sad parts. And it's this really cool experience to be part of, that everybody is collectively there for one thing and you're all enjoying it together. And it's the same way with comedy. Like, yeah, we're all laughing together, we're all enjoying this experience, and we're all sharing this together. Because it's one of the few areas, like in civilized society, where for the most part we're all in on the joke the entire time. We all understand that the person on stage is saying something to deliberately be funny. They're not saying it to hurt anybody. They're not saying it to to be malicious, none of that. It's just we're all here to laugh. We're all recognizing and sharing in that human experience. And also just saying, okay, for like the next hour and a half, we're all going to be tiny pieces of shit and just enjoy what this fucking psycho on stage has to say. It's the best thing.
Yeah, you said a couple of things there that I want to kind of talk about. You said that you're a fucking psycho, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
I feel like comedians in general are fucking crazy.
A
Like,
lot of them are, yeah.
yeah, when who hurt you?
My parents. It's usually just your parents. It's really what it is. It's somebody in the family did something to you.
Yeah,
They're blood related.
yeah,
It's usually it.
yeah. And
Nobody can harm you quite like your family
yeah.
does.
So when were you like, you know what, I need this outlet to explore comedy.
I always wanted to like from the time I was in, I think, a junior in high school. I was attracted to comedy. My friends introduced me to stand up, and I always liked it, but I had horrible stage fright, so I never really liked being in front of people. But I would always say funny things around them, and I knew the difference between like this is an inside joke between us, or this is a thought that I had that I'm sharing, and I think it would be funny, and I would get the affirmation from them. And then when I got to college, I was really wanting to do it, and the girl that I was dating at the time just kind of forced me into it. Like we had a talent show at our college that she's like, just do the fucking talent show. And I did that and it went well. And then we found out about the open mic at the Wisecrackers in Scranton, which is no longer there.
Hmm.
Uh, and I signed up for the open mic and I went up with what I thought was 5 minutes. It sucked. Was not funny at all. But the host liked me and said that you got something. Just keep coming back. And I did. And just over time, I learned how to take the shit that I thought was funny and twist it enough so that I could still be me, but the general audience would understand my perspective because that's all it's about is getting people to understand your perspective because they may not find something that you say to be, or they may not think that the idea that you have is funny, but if you bring them into your world and show them through, your eyes, what you're seeing and how you're thinking about it, then they can go, okay, I do understand why he would think
Hmm.
that's funny and that is funny and that perspective. Uh, and that it just took like 3 years to really figure out how to hone that and get it to a point where I'm like, okay, now I can take all of my thoughts, and if I put them through this filter, these people will understand where I'm coming from, and it'll make sense to them. And it just went from there.
And how long have you been doing it for?
Almost 15 years.
15 years. Damn. 15 years is a long time to do anything.
Yeah, it really is. It's the longest I've been committed to anything in my entire life, and that includes relationships. The only thing I've ever given a shit about properly.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's good to have that.
Yeah. It's good to
It's
have
good to,
something to be committed to.
yeah, if nothing else, you have comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. You said it before, something about being, I forget what it was exactly, but like, um, are you worried about, I mean, I know the answer, or probably not, but like offending people, and like, what are your thoughts on people who get offended by comedy? I mean, like the world we live in now, everyone wants to cancel everybody, right? Like what are your thoughts on, people trying to shit on that? Like it's weird to me.
I mean, I don't actively intend on offending anybody. That's just who I am. The creators of South Park said something to the effect of like, we're not trying to offend anybody. We're just offensive people.
Hmm.
And I think there is a difference between there are some people that want to actively go out and just piss people off. And you can tell because sometimes somebody will just say something that's just deliberately um, mean or offensive or just out there just to, poke the bear, so to speak. But then there's also people that are just like, look, this is the idea that I have. This is the filter that I put it through. And this is why I think it's funny. And this is interesting to me. there is a difference from for me anyways, and from other comics that I know, that it's not just you're not trying to piss people off. You're just
Right.
saying, look, this is a thought that I have, and this is why I think it's funny, and this is what I'm putting out there. And I mean, so far as people getting offended, I mean, you're allowed to be offended. Like, I'm not gonna, I don't think nobody who's rational will say you're not allowed to be offended. You are absolutely allowed to be offended, but that's as far as it goes. You're not owed a remedy for your offense. You know,
Right.
you're, for the most part, most people that are getting offended, you're a fucking adult. You've lived your entire adult life just hearing and dealing with all kinds of things that you don't like. Deal with it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. You don't have to watch it. I don't, again, it comes, I think it's like this weird narcissistic thing of like nobody's forcing you to engage in anything that you don't like. Like if you hear something that you don't like, you can turn it off
Hmm.
immediately. Or like when a trailer comes out and people are like, "Oh, that movie's gonna suck ass." Cool. Don't watch it then. Why do you care?
Right.
What is going on in your life that makes you think that because you something you think is gonna suck, which probably will suck, why give a shit? It's
Right.
gonna happen no matter what. Accept that. Uh, and so far as cancel, I don't know if it's really cancel culture so much as like it's compliant culture, because most people aren't getting canceled that like they still are capable of having careers, at least in the entertainment world. If enough people like what you do, people are going to come out and see you, whether or not you're a pariah or not. I mean, Bill Cosby went to jail for rape. He said, "I'm going to go on tour again." And people bought tickets for it. So he's not really canceled, so to speak. I mean, he should be in jail, but that's
Yeah.
because he actually did a fucking crime.
Yeah.
But like the whole cancel culture thing, I really do think it's a compliance thing that it's a small group of people that don't like something that you did and they feel that you should not be allowed to say things that they don't want to hear. And that's
Right.
just not the way this country works. It's really not the way anything should work. I mean, and again, especially it's comedy. The
Hmm.
whole point is just to be funny.
Yeah.
And if you're in a group of people and the comic says something and everybody's laughing and you go, "That's not funny," you're fucking wrong. Everybody around you is laughing. You are provably wrong in that moment. It's not funny to you, which is perfectly fine. You are absolutely right. It is not funny to you. So far as everybody else goes, though, you're dead fucking wrong. And that's something you have to accept and just move past. And you can get up and leave again or turn it off. Like I that's the only thing I don't understand is why anybody thinks that they are owed anything beyond. I didn't like it. Tough shit. You don't have to watch it again. Bye.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the way that you're an adult. That's the way adults handle shit.
There's times I think that people don't, or they forget that, some of the stuff is made up. Like it's there are stories, and it's
Right.
you're being paid to perform, really, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a time where, you know, maybe an audience member or a person in general thought, hey, this guy's an asshole because of, the way he, whatever his jokes are, and then like met you and realized, hey, you know what? This person is like a cool dude.
No. Most people uh no, nobody's really
No.
come up to me after like my act for the most part, either you really enjoy it or you don't like it at all. I don't
Okay.
really have a lot of middle ground with my act. And most people that don't like it, it's definitely it's going to come across as really fucking arrogant. But I will say, if you don't like my act, you probably just don't get it. I mean, you're probably just stupid. Uh, because I really, and I only say that because I have, when I do this shit, I take it all over the country. I take it to every group imaginable to make sure that it works. And if I'm taking it to like some area where, they haven't had a fucking school there for 20 years and those people are understanding the jokes that I'm telling, and then, I come to some affluent area and you're just like, "Oh, I think that's, I don't think that's okay to say." You're fucking stupid. That's the only real answer that there is. You're fucking dumb that you can't understand that I'm making a joke, or
Hmm.
that you don't understand the point that I'm making in my bit. So I don't give a shit what their problem is. They just don't get it, and that's their issue. They're a narcissist, they're up their own ass, and I probably am too for saying things that I'm saying right now, that I'm just taking it and just going, that's your problem, you're stupid, and I'm not, because I'm stupid for saying that. I totally get that, but it's just like, I don't, nobody's, again, no, nobody's ever come up to me after and go, you're actually a pretty cool guy.
Hmm.
No, because if you paid attention, you would realize I'm a decent person. I'm saying this thing for a reason.
Right.
Um, I've had people want to fight me. Um, some video got like 100,000 views that somebody posted without my fucking permission. Uh, I was in, I can't remember the part of New York, but this woman did not like the things that I was saying, and because I was making jokes about kids, go figure. People are just, because I was, my joke was that um, I like the winter months because during the winter you can leave a baby in the car and it's fine. And it was just pointing out that in the summer, there's always radio ads telling you to don't leave your baby in a hot car. So she's like, oh, so I
Right.
guess a cold car is perfectly fine. And parent, if you're leaving your kid in a hot car, you're a shit parent. And she started to like speak up, and I just shut her down immediately. I was like, I don't care if you like this or not. Fuck off. I'm doing my act. I got 25 minutes left. I don't give a shit what you have to say. She went outside, and then like with, I don't know, 5 minutes left in my act, she came back inside and was going like, "You want to apologize to me now?" I was like, "No, you're an asshole." And then she came up to like the lip of the stage and was trying to yank the microphone out of my hand, and just was daring me to call her names just so she could hit me. And I wasn't playing it. And all of her friends were like telling her to shut up and stop her bullshit, and she just didn't want to listen. Uh, and then any other time, it's usually just people yelling like, "That's not funny. You shouldn't say something like that." And then they usually just walk out or leave. I've had way more people walk out of shows angry than I've had people come up to me after a show or during a show and just try to assault me or get pissed off at what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
and I will take the walking out 100% of the time. I don't like confrontation at all. I don't like dealing with it. So if you're mad and you don't like it, cool. I don't care if 90% of the audience leaves during a show. I will play to that 10% who's there and having a good time and getting that this is all a joke. So that's, if you're watching, fucking leave. I don't care. It's not going to offend me.
How disruptive is that though? Like, obviously there's a lot of timing involved in comedy. There's, storylines and things like that. How disruptive is someone, yelling out or, coming up to the stage? How does that affect your act, or does it not?
I mean, it affects it in the way that now you have to address it um, to some degree. If somebody's just like yelling out, you can usually just ignore them, because the idea is give them enough rope and they'll hang themselves. That if they
Mm,
keep disrupting the show, the audience is going to get pissed off because they're having a good time and they don't want them ruining their evening. So a lot of the times the audience will just tell them to shut up, and then if you attack that person that's been interrupting this entire time, then the audience is on your side. And you can just tear into them. The only problem is that that eats into like the time that you're doing, and sometimes it's really hard to get back into material after you've been like berating
mm.
somebody, because it's like there, my act is still me, but there is a huge difference between you interacting with the audience and then going into prepared material. Like people mentally can sense that there is a difference, like in the way that they're hearing it and taking it in. So if you deal with a heckler, sometimes it does disrupt everything. But there are ways to come back from it and kind of get back into material. I have like jokes that were on previous albums that I don't really do in my act anymore. But in situations like that, it's like, okay, this is a quick joke that I can get everybody back in with me after something like that happened. Or, you just comment on it and you joke around about it. And in joking around about a situation that happened, if you know your material well enough or you have enough material, you kind of just weave it back into that joke that you were doing. and it works out. Or sometimes you just have to abandon the entire bit. You're just like, okay, well, you fucked up an entire setup that nobody got to hear. So that joke is gone. There's 10 minutes of the night. Uh, let's just go into these jokes
Right.
now. So it sucks because I go out of my way. I don't like doing crowd work. I'm not very good at it because I can sometimes just come across like a dick. Uh, and my act is not foolproof, but that's the thing I've been working on. That's the thing that I've been putting most of my time and energy into. And I just want to do my act because it's a good act, and I know people will enjoy it if they just listen to it. And then you disrupt that, and it's just like you're fucking up my night. And again, you're fucking up everybody else's night that's in here and paid money to be in this room right now and listen to people tell jokes. Like they got a babysitter, or they had to find parking, or they had to find the goddamn venue, or they went to dinner, earlier that night and they have indigestion. There's a whole bunch of things that you are just compounding and fucking up by ruining and interrupting the show for your bullshit, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to hear it and nobody wants to deal with it, especially me. And if I have the ability to, I will kick you out as soon as you make fucking noise. I don't even care if it's accidental noise. Just get the fuck out. You're ruining it for everybody and I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah. Well, I believe you're from um northeastern Pennsylvania. Is that accurate? Or are you
I live in Northeast PA. I'm actually
okay?
originally from Maryland.
Okay.
That's where I grew up.
All right. When did you come to this part of the world?
Around 2006.
Okay, so
That's
it's
when I
been
went to.
it's been a long time.
Oh yeah, I've been here for a while.
So almost your entire comedic life.
Yeah, my entire comedic life I've been in Northeast PA.
Now, you said you traveled the world. I want to talk about that. But I mean, when you were just starting out locally here in our corner of
Hmm.
the state, I guess you could say, like, I mean, did you ever think that, this is what it would become? Like, I mean, NEP is different. I mean, you've seen
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of shit, right? But we're a little bit of a different breed, I guess you could say. Like, how important was it for you to, maybe use this area as a test market, and then obviously, expand outside of that? Like, talk about how you have become a traveling comedian, is what I'm getting at, I guess.
yeah. I mean, surprisingly, this area isn't any different than anywhere else in the country. We like it's fun to think that like your local area is like unique, and it's not. Like Northeast PA is no different than Ohio or North Dakota or different parts of Washington and Oregon, Texas. Everybody's mostly the same. You find, you find liberal people, you find conservative people, you find people in the middle. You find everybody everywhere. There's not a lot of difference. Attitudes change, obviously, depending on the different parts of the country you're in, because the weather changes, and like Oregon, everybody's high all the time, so it makes sense that they're just kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
Or Colorado's pretty, but again, it just depends on what part of the country you're in. There's parts of Colorado that are way fucking crazier than Northeast PA. But when I first started, I just wanted to be good at comedy. I just wanted to make sure that I could get people to laugh. There's obviously the idea in the back of your head that like I could be able to do this for a living. I could be able to travel the world. I could be famous. All of those things are definitely, in the back of your head. Like this is all possible, but all that mattered to me at the start was I just want to be funny. And when I was doing mics, there were professional comics that would come out to the mics and work on new material, and they'd be killing the entire time. And my only objective was I want to be as funny as the person that's on stage right now. If I can get the reactions that they're getting, I know that I'm doing something right. I'm getting to where I want to be. And then anything after that is gravy, because I just wanted to be funny. That was the main thing. I want to be able to get on stage at any point, anytime, and make a group of strangers laugh their asses off. That was all that mattered to me. And then as I was doing it more and getting better at it and learning how to craft longer sets, I started traveling a little bit more and going to different open mics and different comedy scenes, and that were close by. Like I would go to Jersey, I would go to New York, I would go to Philly, Easton, Allentown, stuff like that. Nothing too far out, but and anytime that I would go to those new places, I wouldn't do new material there. I would do all the stuff that I knew worked, so that those new people that saw me would go, "Oh, this guy's funny. We should get him on a show." Because that's the best way to network. You don't just try new shit out because if people just look at you like you're a nobody, they go, "Oh, it's some other unfunny fucking person at an open mic. Wow, how different is that?" But if you go in there and you go, I'm from out of town, and you blow them away, they go, oh, this is somebody we should talk to. This is somebody that we should get on our shows and work with. And I just did that when I got better. And then I got lucky, and I kind of fell in with an agency. And when I fell in with them, they were giving me a little bit of work here and there. And then, like 6, 7 years in, I was able to start like really traveling the country. And I was doing more like Northeast stuff, and slightly Midwest things like in Ohio. And then things kind of just popped off. And I just started traveling the entire country. I was being able to afford flights to, different parts of the country, and people were covering my travel to go to Florida or Chicago or Washington State. And it was crazy. And there's those little moments where you just start thinking to yourself like, wow, this is weird. Like I'm getting paid to fly to Chicago, and flying is whatever now. Like, anybody can fly, but it's for me, it's like one of those weird like steps. Like I'm on an airplane right now, and I'm going to a different state that isn't mine, and I'm being paid to entertain strangers in a different part of the country. Like it's crazy, it's fulfilling. Um, you cry a little bit because you're like, I didn't think I was going to be here ever.
Hmm.
And again, I'm not famous by any stretch, but it is cool to be in that situation where, like, a few years ago, I was just telling jokes at Wisecrackers, and I was just doing everything I could to get as much stage time as I could, and now uh, strangers are paying me to play their corporate gig, or I have connections now throughout the country where there's venues that I can play at, and people will come out to see me specifically, and it's wild. I never thought that was going to happen. I hoped it would, but I never thought it was possible.
That's got to be a pretty great feeling.
It's an amazing feeling,
Yeah.
but it's also a feeling of always like keep yourself in check, because everything can just fall apart at any minute. People can stop giving a shit about you, and then also it's healthier for your ego to keep it in check as
Hmm.
well, because it's very easy to have a bunch of people like you, and then you just kind of go, well, there's nothing I can do, or there's no wrong I can ever commit now. I have people that love me. Why wouldn't I just take advantage of that? And I just look at it as I'm lucky. That's it. I'm lucky to do what I'm able to do, and what I have. So, and I just kind of keep my head down and keep blinders on the entire time. It's like, a lot of people like you. Cool. I don't know them. I don't I don't acknowledge it that much, because it's just because I don't want it to get to my head. I don't want it to be a thing. It's like I'm just doing my job. That's it.
Hmm.
I'm just making people laugh. That's it. I'm a fucking clown. That's all I am. I am a step above a birthday clown, or a step below. I don't know where I am in that totem
Depends on
pole, but
it depends on the day, I guess, right?
yeah,
I mean, obviously, there's room for improvement always. There's room for growth and like obviously exposure, right? Like
yeah.
what I mean, are you just continuing to keep your head down and focusing on your material and doing those things and performing well, like, and that's going to take you to the next level? Or are you doing things kind of to help, expedite that process?
I mean, I'm definitely reaching out to people and trying to network more for sure. But I mean, the thing that I've just noticed that's worked the most is just keep being as good as you can be. Because the more you get out there and you perform for people, the venues that you perform at, they see everybody that performs there. Somebody is always there every time a show is happening, and they know what their audience likes. They know what their customers like. And I've heard it more times than I can count that, you were the funniest comedian we've had the entire time that, we've been running comedy shows here. Or, your agency sends out so many comics, you're our favorite hands down. And that's that's I love hearing that, but also it's just well, all I'm focused on is being as funny as I can be. I don't try to go out of my way to get that compliment. I just get it because all I do is work at it and try to make sure that what I'm saying is as true to me as it can be, as unique as it can be compared to everybody else, and that I'm just I indifferent. And it's not deliberate. It's just that's who I am, and I just stay true to myself. And I just, I joke about what I think is funny and interesting and different to me. And other people seem to agree and enjoy it. And that's all I focus on. And the more I get comfortable with it, that's why I've been posting more things online. It's like I have 5 albums, also. I have 5 hours of material. Um, I can share all of that for months, if not years, and I'm not going to repeat anything. And I'm always working on new stuff that people haven't heard yet. So when I go out on the road, I'm giving them an entirely new act that anything that they've seen online, they're not going to see when I bring it to them this time. And I mean, that's to me, that's what you should do as a performer or as somebody that's providing entertainment for people, is always give them something new, because that's what they want. And comedies like that, especially, it's like a fucking magic trick. Once you've seen it once, if you do it
Yeah.
again, it's cool, but you kind of figure out how it works, and that it's not as great as it was the last time. People still love hearing jokes repeated, absolutely, but it doesn't have the same shine to it as when they hear something that you do for the first time.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I didn't see that punchline coming. And then, like, oh shit, that makes sense because he said this here, and
Hmm.
then it ties into this thing there. And to me, that's also the fun part of it, is seeing them like piece it together as I'm piecing it together.
Yeah, it's such a craft. Like Jerry Seinfeld. I am a huge Seinfeld fan, but like I saw him on 2 occasions, years, like I want to say 4, 5, 6 years
Mm-hmm.
apart. There was some new material, but a majority of that stuff was the stuff I heard six
Yep.
years, and I was like, that sucks because like it was so funny at that, 6 years
Mm-hmm.
prior. Like yeah, like you said, you can't recapture that
No.
first time. And I was really bummed. And such a respected person like that. I was shocked that
Yeah.
he was like that.
He's an old school comic in that way, that you don't really change your act that much. That once you've figured out what your hour is, you just keep doing that because, it works. It's really
Yeah.
good. And I mean, he does it at a very, very, very high level. Because
Hmm.
if you go to a comedy club, you're going to see a lot of like 40, years in pros that they haven't changed their act in 20 or 30 years. And most of the time, the reason for that is because the comedy club audience is always changing. They don't have their fans coming out to see them. They just have people coming out to
Yeah.
see them. So they can do an act for 40 years and never really change it. Maybe add in a new reference here or there, just so that it makes sense to people. But if you have people coming out to see you, I think it's your responsibility and you owe it to them to always do new things, so that yeah, they'll keep coming back if you keep giving them
Yeah.
new stuff. But it is definitely an old school way of doing things, because why would you it's why would you give up your best, weapons?
Yeah.
Uh, and again, that
Yeah.
comes from like the vaudeville times, where again, people don't know you specifically. They just see, somebody's coming to town and it's going to entertain them. And if you go out there with something that doesn't work, it comes right back to, you ruined their evening now.
Yeah.
And what are they, this is my one Saturday a month that I get to do something, and this fucking guy wasn't funny. Uh, and there are times in the past where people just beat you to death if you ruin their evening. So there is a sense of survival in that of just like I'm not going to change a goddamn thing in my act because it means I live.
Yeah. Is there a place in the world that like, for music, people we gotta go to Nashville. If you want to
Hmm.
be an actor, New York or LA. Is
Yeah.
there a kind of a spot in the world that, is like that for comedy
It's
that you
definitely
think?
New York City. Like that's definitely the main place. New York City is where if you want to truly make a living, you go there because that's where a lot of agents and industry are who are paying attention and looking around. There's no industry or talent agents in uh, Northeast PA.
Right.
I mean, for the most part, though, any major city that if you say it, people know what you're talking about, that's where you want to go because more people are just going to be there and check things out. You want to go to Philly, you want to go to New York City, you want to go to Atlanta, Georgia, you want to go to Los Angeles, you want to go to Austin, Texas is a big one right now. Like any or Denver, Colorado, any place that you can like say and people know immediately without having really any understanding of geography. Just like, oh, that's a place that I know. That's where you want to go. If you can go to a major city, you can build something there and then take it other places.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard some comedians like say that comedy is like dangerous again. Um, would you agree with that? I think they mean in that like, it's like good to like push the envelope and kind of
Yeah,
and again, I don't know if that, is relevant, but like I do feel like, comedy is kind of and maybe it was never gone, but I feel like it was kind of like a revival almost. Or maybe just new
it's
blood.
yeah. I mean, it's dangerous in the sense that people are actively or can be offended by things, and that will like they're going to bring more attention to you because they're upset by something that you said, and you can definitely people will come after you more or try to call you out for things that you say. There's the danger in that of just like, oh shit, I might be in trouble for something that I said, because there definitely was a time where it's like, hey, a comedian said something offensive. We'll just go, yeah, that's what they do. What are we concerned about here? And now we're kind of in a time where if somebody says something offensive, it's all over Twitter or, fucking CNN will do a small article about it. And you're just like, aren't there wars going on? Like, what do you care that somebody said something that upset, 20 people on the internet today? And so it's dangerous in that sense,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's any, more or less than what it has been. There's definitely more emphasis on people wanting to push the envelope,
Yeah.
though. And the fascinating part about it is that if you piss off enough people, they'll just advertise you for you. Like
For
you don't,
free.
yeah, like they'll just like that's the more interesting thing to me is that if people hate you, they're your best advertising because they'll share your shit everywhere and go, look what a piece of shit this person is. And then there's gonna be people that go, I think they're funny. What
Yeah.
are you guys angry about? Like
Yeah.
when, Louis got canceled and then he's playing, theaters and there's people going, Louis C.K. is the biggest piece of shit. He's a rat, he's a monster, and he'll be playing at this theater on Tuesday the 15th at 8 p.m. for $25. And you're like, you're advertising for him. Don't fucking if
Right.
you don't want him to exist anymore, don't tell people where he's fucking playing. Like that's stupid.
Yeah.
Don't give people attention that you don't want to have attention.
Yeah.
Like that's how you put out a fire. You don't give it oxygen, you deprive it of oxygen. But people that hate you, they'll give you all the oxygen that you can want. And if you're good enough and you actually have a point sometimes, the people that they're sharing that to will go, I actually kind of like what they have to say. So
Right.
thank you. Well, I'm gonna go see them now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And what are your thoughts too? Like, I mean, this is you're a comedian in 2023, and we have all these streaming services. Like, back in the day, like if you got an HBO special, like that was like
Mm,
huge, right? Or
yeah.
even like Comedy Central and things like that. Now it's like, you have the power of your own website. You mentioned Louis. I
Hmm.
think he did just recently, maybe a month or two ago, like a special that, you paid for and it was
Yeah.
exclusively on his website, which is awesome.
Hmm.
Like so many like different ways. Netflix is huge with comedians and
Yeah.
specials. And I mean, that's kind of got to be exciting for you, right? As like a young comedian and a lot of potential and a lot of opportunities.
It definitely is. I mean, Netflix is what HBO used to be for a lot of people because a lot more people are on Netflix. And if, the algorithm gives it to enough people that day, a lot of people can see your special and you can be famous or, you don't have to worry about selling tickets anymore. But at the same time, because there's so many, there definitely is I feel, an oversaturation of comedy. Like, because YouTube allows you to just, post whatever you want and you can post for as long as you want now. Like, there's no cap on how long a video can be. A lot of people are putting out comedy specials or just putting out material, and now everybody kind of has to wade through all of that to find, the good shit, so to speak. But again, it's just cream always rises to the top. If you've got something good, people are going to find it and people are going to see it. And there's ways to get them to pay attention to that. You may not be able to get them to pay attention to, the active YouTube videos that you're putting out there. But again, the reels on YouTube, the shorts on YouTube, if you play those up the right way, enough people will see them, enough people subscribe to your channel, and then you just keep, pushing out to your subscribers. It's definitely made comedians better business people and learn how to market themselves better. I think that's what the internet definitely has done is they're all online things. It allows you to market yourself a lot better and a lot more. And that's definitely better because it teaches you how to put yourself out there and make yourself important to your audience.
Yeah, for sure. Who are some of your favorite comedians that you've looked up to over the years? And if you had your opportunity to open for, some of those, who would they be?
I love Carlin and Pryor. They're dead, so I can't open
Yeah,
for
you
them.
can't open for those. Yeah.
No. I love Doug Stanhope. I got to open for him. He was one of the nicest and funniest people I've ever met. Um, I love Patton Oswalt, Christopher Titus. Um, I mean, Louis was definitely a big influence for a lot of comics. David Tell is hilarious. I love John Mulaney. I really love Jim Gaffigan. He's one of the few clean comics that I like. Um, Trying to think who else. Kyle Kinane is hilarious. He just put out a special, and it's brilliant from start to finish. Yeah, those are some people that I would love to just talk to, even. And I've met a bunch of like really, really, really funny people who are doing great things now. Like Andrew Rivers is somebody who's really funny and blowing up. I worked with a bunch of people worked with Shane before he blew up, and I mean, you could even see then when he started, like he could kill a room no matter what room he was in. He was just hilarious.
Are you referring to Gillis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's he's special. He's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's a great list. Yeah, for sure. Did you see the Chris Rock special?
I did.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I liked it.
I did too.
Um, I loved the ending of it of him going after Will Smith because that was the thing everybody wanted to see and hear about, and I think that's something special too. That and it was smart for him to put it at the end because it makes everybody watch it until
Hmm.
the end as well to hear everything that he has to say about all the other topics that he wants to talk about. But I think that's one of the best things about comics is when something happens, especially to you directly, and you have enough people that are interested in it, like they want to hear that story. They want to hear what's going on in your life and your perspective on it. Pryor was the master of that. Like people often wondered if Pryor fucked his life up so much just so we could make jokes about it.
There's something special, and I'm convinced that like people who are successful, whether it's like a musician or a comedian, like they have to be fucked up. Like something had to have happened. Like Me, I didn't stand a chance to be any kind of entertainer because
Hmm.
I had a pretty cookie cutter life. Like mom and
Yeah.
dad were good. Like I had good parents. I had a good upbringing. Like nothing bad ever happened to me. So I didn't stand a chance. Like you see so many comedians that like, they were latchkey kids or they were, they were living in one state for 4 years
Hmm.
and then, their parents split and they were living somewhere else or they just were in these weird, situations like Joey Diaz. Like you listen to him talk and he's like, how are you still alive type of shit, It's, yeah, it's people like comedians and musicians and things. It's just like it's wild to see and like kind of
Hmm.
think about. But
I mean, I don't think you don't have to have a bad childhood to be fucked up. Because like Dane Cook and Jay Leno were people that didn't really have a whole lot of terrible things happen to them. They don't drink, they don't do any drugs, and they're considered some of the best comedians and biggest comedians that existed. And I mean, it's your perspective and point of view on life that separates you.
right,
And I mean, if you're able to hear somebody that has like a weird point of view on life and listen to it and appreciate it, that doesn't mean that you don't have a weird point of view and that you can't share it. Um, I think it's also kind of dangerous to say on some level that like only fucked up people can be entertainers, and then that kind of
you know
gives
what I
people.
mean?
No, I know, but it does seem slightly dangerous just to because then people are like, oh well, the only way to be entertaining in life is something bad's got to happen to me, so let's burn half my body. Hopefully, something interesting will come out of that.
I'm not saying that. Don't do that.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but there is that like
Yeah,
mentality to people sometimes. Because a lot of yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say like no comic is messed up. A lot of comics are fucked up people with a lot of problems. And again, and entertainers in general, or people with who are fucked up with a lot of problems, and they're just trying to get people to pay attention
yeah.
to them
Well,
and get affirmation that they
well, they have
didn't
these
get in childhood.
yeah, we have these different perspectives. Like even like musicians with drugs, right? Like back in the
Yeah.
day, it kind of unlocked a part of their brain that would we have gotten some of the stuff that came out of the 70s if there wasn't
Mm,
you know drugs used.
right.
you know but oh man, so I mean obviously I won't keep it much longer, but how important are open mics? Let's say is a young comic or someone who's aspiring to be a comedian is listening and you know how important are doing open mics and what advice would you give to that person?
I mean, just open mics and just getting up in general is the most important thing because that's the way you figure out one if you're actually good at it or not. Like it definitely takes years for you to be good at comedy or anything for that matter. You have to put the time and effort into it. So the open mics are very, very important to get out there in front of as many different people as you possibly can to get out and try new shit on a regular basis and see what works and doesn't work and make yourself uh, better. It's the only way to do it. And I mean, if you're starting out, just know what your goals are. And I mean, set realistic expectations. Don't think like I'm going to be famous in, a week or so. Just do your best to get better. That's it. Just be, and no matter what it is, if you're a musician, if you're a drummer, a bass player, guitar player, just work on being the best that you possibly can be. Be the best bass player, best guitar player, best fucking drummer, whatever you want to be. Just try to be as good as you possibly can at it. Same thing with comedy. Just try to be if somebody at your in your scene is killing it and is hilarious, just try to be as funny as they are. Like that should be your goal. Just, treat other people as competition, not as I want to be better than them or I want to take what's theirs, but just to just get to their level. Try to be as funny as they are because then that's going to elevate you and that'll force other people around you to elevate themselves as well or just die off and fucking, leave. Then that's another thing that's a benefit that you don't want dead weight hanging around you all the time because then that makes the scene better as well. That if you're all trying to make yourselves better and get more people to come out because you're all getting funnier, that's only going to make your scene better. It's only going to make you better because you're getting better. But that's it. Don't like think about like, oh, what could the future bring? What could how much money can I make off of this? Just focus on getting better. That's it. Just get better and get good at what you're doing and focus on that.
Just do it.
Yeah, really, that's all it is.
Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
Yeah.
Some of your favorite places that you've performed at.
Boise, Idaho is one of my favorite cities to perform in. It's a great comedy scene out there. I love it. I play a place called Watson's Mystery Cafe. It's one of my favorite places I've ever played. The audiences are fantastic. Um, Colorado is a lot of fun. Um, I still love Pennsylvania. I love New York and Jersey. Maryland's got some fun places. I played out in the Dakotas and love there. I Most places I've played I've really enjoyed just because I get to see, what audiences are out there and what they enjoy and what they appreciate. But I would definitely say Boise, Idaho is my tippy top favorite. I love it out there.
What are some like pre-show like you know rituals? I mean, do you go out to eat like, or do you get into town and kind of go right to the spot, or what?
When I get to town, I usually just try to check into my hotel or wherever I'm staying, get acclimated, and then I show up to the venue about an hour beforehand. Sometimes I get food, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I'm feeling. And then it's really just sitting in the back waiting for my turn to go up. Uh, I kind of move around a little bit just to get limber, and then just do my thing. I try not to get into my head too much. I'll be sometimes like down on myself, like especially if somebody's like really building me up just to kind of put myself down. It's like, oh man, you guys are gonna love him. I'm like, no, you're not. This guy's really funny. I'm like, don't fucking tell them that shit.
Yeah,
And then just go up and just get into my act and do my thing. That's it. I really try not to get too into it. I just want to go out there, see how they feel, match their energy, bring them up a little bit, maybe bring them down, whatever it is, and just have fun. That's it. I just want to go out there and have fun. I try not to make it this big fucking thing because then you're just
yeah,
asking for, failure.
right. And some bucket list venues. Any that you're dying to get into?
I mean, anywhere I go, I'm just happy to be there. I
Cool.
really am. I'd love to get to a point where I could play um, like a theater, even a small one, like 500 seats. I'd love to be able to draw that many people that actively want to come out and see me. But I'm happy wherever I go. I just love venues in general. Any place, even if it's a bar and they have like a little back room that you're performing in. I love little things like that. I love the aesthetics.
Well, Zach, where could people find you once again on online to see your special, to check out more about you, check out some future shows and things like that?
Just go to zackhammond.net, Zack, and then my last name, Hammond. And you can spell Zach, Zack, or Zach, because I bought both domains because I know people can't spell. So
That's very
you can
smart.
type, yeah, type it either way you want. My special is right on the front page. It's on YouTube, so you can go to YouTube and type in my name as well. It'll come up. And then I have dates on my website, videos, merch, all kinds of shit on there that you can play around with.
That's sweet, man. Well, thanks so much for doing this. Like I said, I saw your clips from your recent special, and I was just reminded of how funny you are, and you've definitely gotten better as the years
Oh,
have
yeah, I
gone
hope
by. Yeah,
so.
that's the goal, right? But yeah, it
Yeah,
was definitely, and I don't know if like I couldn't tell you like what specifically. Like I heard that I was like, oh man, that's really good.
yeah.
It was just everything that I saw was just like really well done, thought out, and just delivered in a great way. So
Thank you.
you
I
know,
sincerely appreciate that.
yeah, for what it's worth, I'm in your corner. I hope to see you in the big lights, I guess you could say. But I know you're happy with where you're at. But if you were, if I saw you, I can't even tell you a popular comedy clubs to hope to see you at. But whatever
Yeah,
it
no,
might be,
thank you.
I hope you're there. So yeah, thanks for doing this again,
Thank
and
you.
hopefully I'll see you at a show soon.
Oh, definitely. I'll let you know what's going on.
Yeah, let me. I know you're always in the past. You've been. It's hard, man. I have those things that you hate called
I
kids.
know.
Yeah, I'm doing my son's I'm the coach for his well, assistant coach for his coach pitch baseball team this year, and it's 3 days a week, and my time is just
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally get that.
yeah. Oh no, I mean I wish I could,
Yeah.
it's funny being in the position that I've been in, around the entertainment stuff. I wish I can get out to all this stuff, and it's just like,
Hmm.
being a dad is obviously being a dad is great, Zach.
Oh,
I
I
love
believe
being a
it.
did. It's amazing. You should do it. Come to the dark side. No, I'm not that kind of guy. To each their own. They don't want kids. They don't want kids. They want kids. Go for it. It is a
Right.
joy. But yeah, it's not for everybody.
No.
So yes, thank you once again, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Have a good night, man.
All
Thank
right,
you.
later.